In today's video, I'm going to be sharing how much I've made during my first full year of monetization on YouTube. When I first started out my channel and I was doing a bit of research, I know that these kind of videos really helped me to understand what would be achievable with my small art channel. I want to be as transparent as possible in this video and give you an insight into how much you can earn whilst you're growing your creative art channel. To be honest, it has been a real eye-opener making this video. It's given me a chance to just sit down and go through all the facts and figures on YouTube Studio. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to put some vlog content in the video too from my week in my art studio, as it is what I love to film the most. So I'll be decorating my studio for Christmas and of course doing some painting. So first of all, just give you a quick background into how I achieved monetization. I started my YouTube channel around about 2 years ago, so in September 2023, so it's been just over 2 years. And it took me around a year to achieve monetization. Back then you needed 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours within a period of 12 months. I believe that's still the same today, so those two metrics haven't changed. And as I said, this took me around a year to achieve. I remember that from when I started my channel to around 10 months afterwards, I was at 2.7 thousand watch hours, and I thought soon I'm going to start losing those watch hours from those first videos that I created. But luckily in September I uploaded a video which did really well, and it pushed me above the target of the 4,000 watch hours, so I got monetized in September 2024. At the end of last year, just after I got monetized, I did make a YouTube video all about how I reached monetization and some tips and tricks. So I'm not going to go too much into that. I will link that video down below. I'll also pop it up above. But my key tips here would be to niche down. So you don't want your channel to appear too scattered. You want to kind of niche on a subject or maybe one or two subjects. I think this really helps. And don't be too afraid that your niche is too small, because the world is a huge place, so there's going to be an audience for the kind of videos that you create. Make your main focus on creating and uploading consistently. In the beginning, my content, I think, was awful. I had no experience of creating videos or editing or talking on camera, but with each video I just concentrated on getting that little bit better than the last video I uploaded, and I feel like this strategy really works. You don't want to wait till the perfect time when you feel like you're ready. Just start now and just concentrate on getting a little bit better with each video and uploading consistently. That really is the secret. Some more practical pieces of advice are to not use copyrighted music. I did this completely by accident. I was using music in my videos that were from what I thought was a royalty-free website, which meant that I could download the music and put them into my video. But once I got monetized, it turned out that that music was actually copyrighted, and it basically red flagged these videos, and I couldn't make any money on them because all the money that I would make from the AdSense on these videos would go straight to the owner of the music. I've just turned off the light behind me because I felt like it was reflecting onto the camera. Anyway, copyrighted music, don't do what I did. I've now figured out a way where this will never happen again. Also, one last piece of practical advice before we move on to the numbers is that your file name for your YouTube video and also your thumbnail, make sure the file name includes keywords, as this will get noticed by the YouTube algorithm. So make sure it's not something like file 26712, but include the title of what the video is about. So for example, selling your art on Etsy. This will then get noticed by the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, as I said, I have created a whole entire video on tips and tricks to monetization, and I will link that down below. If you've done any research into this already, you'll probably already know that the amount that you can make on YouTube can vary drastically from channel to channel. And this is because there's loads of different metrics involved. So my advice would be to find creators that are in your niche. So for example, when I was doing research, I looked at smaller art channels and see if they've made videos about how much they've made. Obviously, some creators are going to be making more because they've got a bigger audience or their views per video are going to be higher. But that's why I wanted to create this video, because it's a realistic look into how much you could make as a smaller art channel. So now let's talk numbers, and I'm specifically now referring to how much I've made through AdSense. And this is where advertisers will pay to place adverts in your videos, and it's worked out by what's known as a CPM and an RPM, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but I'm purely talking AdSense. And this has actually been my smallest revenue stream from my YouTube channel. There's other ways to make much more money, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but for these numbers I'm purely talking about AdSense. So in my first year of monetization, my channel has made from AdSense alone a grand total of £627.70. And as I said, some of these videos that I've made can't be monetized because of copyright reasons, but it's roughly 30 videos I've made that have contributed to that total. So if you were to take that total figure and then divide it by the number of videos, it works out on average about £20 per video, which doesn't sound that great, but some of my videos have performed significantly better than others, so I'll break down those numbers now. It's also worth mentioning, because I didn't know this before I started researching for this video, my older videos that I created before I got monetized, I am still earning ad revenue on those. But any views that I got before I was monetized don't count. So it's only views after I was monetized. So a lot of these older videos, the amount that I have made through AdSense has been very, very small compared to the more recent videos that I've been uploading. So I'm just going to break down the numbers a little bit more for you now. So my highest number of views in a single day was 1,023, and that was back in October last year. And my best performing video in terms of AdSense revenue is the video about where to sell your artwork with print on demand. That's earned me a total of £50.72 since I uploaded it, and I only uploaded it a few months ago, so you have to bear in mind that this revenue is going to be ongoing. It's not like you make the video, you get paid a certain amount for it and that's it. A year from now, if I'm still making videos for YouTube, if I still have my YouTube channel, I'll still be making revenue on that video. And my worst performing video, in contrast, was my festive gift guide from 2023. So that's nearly 2 years ago now, which has made a grand total of 29p. And in terms of monthly earnings, my best month was October 2024. This was when I uploaded that video that did really, really well. So that was my best month, where I made £87.77. Since then, the last 2 months of this year, last 2 previous months, have been my best, and they've earned £59.53. It's important to note that if you don't meet the minimum payment threshold within that month, which is £60, then the amount gets rolled over to the next month. So for example, the month where I earned £59, I wouldn't have got paid anything. That would have rolled over to the next month and been added on to that total. Now let's talk about CPM, which stands for cost per mille. And this is basically how much advertisers are willing to pay for every 1,000 times someone watches their advert in your video. This metric is how your payments are worked out basically, and it's going to vary not only from channel to channel but also from video to video. You'll notice that if you have YouTube Studio, you'll see that your CPM for each of your individual videos is going to be completely different. They're not going to be exactly the same. And also it's important to mention that art channels are normally ones that get a lower CPM than channels that are more to do with finance or tech, unfortunately. So my highest CPM was on my video that was about creating a website that sells. So that was all about how to create a website where you can sell your artwork. And the CPM for that video was £8.59. My lowest CPM tend to come from more of my vloggy style videos. My Cozy Autumn art vlog had a CPM of just £5.07. I think that was my lowest CPM. But I do love making these vlog style videos, so I'm not going to stop making them anytime soon. I definitely think it's a balance between filming what you love to film, but also keeping an eye on the metrics in the background just so you know which videos are performing better than others. Next up, we're going to talk about RPM, which is revenue per mille. So this is slightly different to CPM because it's the amount you actually get paid per 1,000 views after YouTube has taken their cut. So obviously you're not going to make the full amount because YouTube are going to take a little slice of the pie, which is fair enough. My highest RPM so far has been £8.98, and this was for my video about running a small Etsy shop as a traditional artist. So I suppose I could take from that maybe videos about Etsy do well in terms of RPM, but also interestingly, this was also the video that had the highest watch duration. So this kind of makes sense because the longer people watch your videos, the more adverts are going to be seen. You normally have an advert at the beginning of your video and an advert at the end. You can also choose to insert adverts mid-rolls. This will be halfway through a video, for example. So the longer people watch your video, they might be seeing 2 adverts as opposed to 1. So this therefore will make your RPM higher. If you are looking to increase your RPM, then it might be worthwhile thinking about making longer videos. So for example, in the art niche, you could do paint with me videos or draw with me, or you could do an art tutorial style video. They're going to be longer and you can place more adverts into those. But as a little side note here, it'd be great to get your thoughts on how you feel about adverts that are placed in the middle of videos. I just wanted to kind of understand if you are someone who doesn't really mind this, or do you feel like it really disrupts the flow of the video? Be interested to hear your thoughts. And the videos with my lowest RPM have been some of the very first ones that I created when I first started my channel. These range anywhere from around 20 pence to £1. And I think this is likely because my viewers aren't watching these videos for as long as some of my more recent uploads. Someone's just got their hedge trimmers out. As you can see, earning revenue through AdSense is definitely not a sustainable form of income for me, and it's definitely something to bear in mind. It's not going to be an amount of money that you can live off. And I think it's really, really important to understand this early on when you're first starting out your channel, or perhaps while you're growing it. It's just really good to bear this in mind. But as I mentioned earlier, AdSense is actually the smallest revenue stream from my YouTube channel. I make the most amount from brand partnerships and sponsorships. If you are able to find brands that genuinely align with your artistic values, so brands that you use, that you know and you trust, and products that you love, for example, or services, artistic services that you love, then you can reach out to them and ask them if they want to collaborate with you. Alternatively, you may find that as your channel grows and you're getting bigger, they'll reach out to you and ask you if you'd like to collaborate. So just keep these kind of things on your radar as you're creating your content and growing your channel. Interestingly, some of my worst performing videos in terms of AdSense revenue have actually been my best financial performers because of these sponsorships that I've been doing. And I'm not going to go into these numbers in this video because this video is purely about AdSense revenue, but I am planning an updated revenue streams as an artist for 2025. I made one of these videos in 2024, but since then a couple of my revenue streams have changed. So I've dropped a couple of them off and I've got a couple of new ones, and also they've moved around a bit in terms of which have been higher income compared to lower income. So I'm planning a whole new video on that, so keep an eye out for that one. Also, if you are interested in finding out a bit more about how brand deals work specifically for artists, then I have created a video about that too, which I'll also link down below. I've briefly touched on this throughout this video, but I thought I would just summarise the key things that I feel have affected my AdSense revenue throughout the past year. The first factor is video length. Longer videos have the potential to perform better than shorter ones, and longer videos are generally considered those that are 8 minutes or longer. And this is because these videos, you can include mid-roll adverts in them. So you can include adverts at the beginning, at the end, and also in the middle. So obviously this means you have the potential to get a higher RPM with these videos because people are going to be watching more adverts. The next one is watch time. Videos that have a higher watch time often perform better. So in a similar way to video length, someone who watches your video for longer means you're going to get a better RPM. So it's really important to try and get people to watch your videos and not just kind of switch off after 10 seconds, which is a challenge. The next one is viewer location, and I didn't actually realise this for a long time, but one of the metrics that affects your CPM is where your viewers are located throughout the world. Countries where you can get a higher CPM include the UK, the US and Canada. So if you look at your audience metrics, if you have a channel and you have a YouTube studio, take a look at your audience metrics, and if you have a lot of viewers that are based in these countries, then you have the potential to get a higher CPM. And the last factor is the type of content. From my experience, my CPMs are better with my more business type videos. These could be things like selling art or selling on Etsy, as opposed to more of a vlog style video where my CPMs are generally lower. But as I mentioned earlier, it's not going to stop me from making these videos. It's definitely something to bear in mind, but I also feel it's important to create content that you love as well. As well as looking at the metrics that have affected my AdSense revenue, I also just wanted to summarise some of the key lessons that I've learned over this past year of monetization. The first one is that even small progress is still progress. Every upload is going to add to your long-term growth, and with every video that you create, you're going to be getting better. When I look back on those first videos that I created, I do realise how far I've come, but I also recognise that I've got a long way to go as well. So I'm looking forward to watching back on these videos in 2 years' time to see my progress. My second lesson is try to think about creating evergreen content as much as possible. This is content that remains relevant long into the future. You want to be creating content that people want to watch 2, 3, 4 years from now. After all, you are putting a lot of time and effort into these videos, so why not make them evergreen so that you can still be earning revenue from them long into the future. My third lesson is to do as much research as you can, but don't ever compare your channel to somebody else's. Even if it's in the same niche as you, so for example art, no two channels are ever going to be the same, and no two channels are ever going to be earning the same amount through AdSense. So it's important not to compare yourself too much, and don't get disheartened if you're not doing as well as somebody else. And my fourth lesson is just to enjoy the process. If you genuinely enjoy it and you love making the content that you make, then I feel like your audience are going to naturally love it too. I've often talked about all the other positives that come from making a YouTube channel, aside from the financial benefits. There are so many positives to making content for YouTube, so I feel like one of the big things here is just to enjoy it, and good things will come from that. So that's what 1 year of YouTube monetization has looked like for me. I hope this video has been realistic and encouraging, and that you've also taken away some lessons from my previous experiences. I'd love to know where you are at on your YouTube journey. If you've not yet reached monetization, then just keep going. It's completely possible. If I can give you any more advice, then please just ask in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed watching this video, then please give it a like, as it's really going to help my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one.